Welcome, my cogs and gears, to another fireside chat. I'm your host and artist, Indigo. When it comes to parenting, they say there is no right way, and that you aren't going to be a perfect parent. When an entire being is relying on you for emotional and physical support, I say you better damn try. Today we'll be discussing my thoughts on parenting. Let's chat. So the first thing I would like to address, and I'm going to not go with the script this time around because this is pure opinion, and it's not going to be well structured because I have a few different ideas and points that kind of chaff my hide, to be perfectly honest. And the first one is gender stereotypes, is forcing kids into these ridiculous gender stereotypes. Boys shouldn't cry, or boys will be boys, or girls need to be these third parents who have to learn how to clean up after everybody, but not teaching the boys how to do this and stuff like that. And maybe you didn't have to deal with this growing up, or you don't remember having to deal with this. It doesn't mean that this isn't still a problem that has to happen, or has to be gotten rid of. Because not teaching boys how to do housework sets them up for failure, and this boys will be boys creates entitlement, and boys can't cry creates repression of emotions. Not letting them play with girly toys is not only just implying that being girly is a bad thing, but also, like, so a son can't play with a Barbie doll or with a baby doll and learn how to be a good father? You don't want him to be a good father? Seriously? Wow. That's kind of a bit dickish. A skirt is a skirt, guys. The color pink is pink, guys. You're putting so much power into these objects when at the end of the day they only have as much power as you give them. And my kid's gonna get bullied. Screw that. If they're gonna bully your kid for something, first off, they're gonna bully your kid no matter what. If they're trolling, if they're looking to be a bully, they're going to be a bully. Second off, that's the problem with the bully, not your kid. Your kid should not have to worry about bullies being bullies. If a bully going to bully, that's the problem with the bully. I shouldn't give two craps about whether or not my kid's going to be bullied to the point that I'm going to have to change my kid so much that they can't be themselves. What I am going to do is I am going to go whoop that bully's ass. Be like, you leave my kid alone. Thank you. And also teach my kid how to whoop the bully's ass. Because self-independence is necessary, and just learning how to ignore this kid, as long as it's not like physical abuse and anything like too extreme. If it's a kid just going, you're weird, and it's just like, yeah, I am, and that's a bad thing. How? Please explain. I don't care. Made a whole career off of it, folks. Like that old Navy commercial. And that just kind of leads into the next thing I wanted to point out. Like, allowing kids to have hobbies, and emotions. Like, come on. Kids are human beings. They're not objects, and you do not own them as objects. Let them like sports. Let them like the newest fad. Let them like things. Just let them be humans. Just seriously. It just makes me so mad that people think that kids are somehow these objects for you to either live vicariously through, or that they're your new little slave that does things for you, or anything like that. No. You have a kid because you're trying to create the next generation and teaching a generation to be better than you. And that means creating an emotionally healthy, physically healthy human being who's able to be productive in society, and being able to be nice and kind and compassionate to others. And they're not here to serve you. That mentality needs to die. And we do not owe you anything, okay? Bare minimum parenting gets bare minimum results. You want me to be a better kid to you? Actually do, parenting. Actually parent. Guilt tripping me doesn't work, especially like, so I put a roof over your head, I put clothes on your back, I feed you. Like, no. These are things you're supposed to do. These are things that if you did not do, CPS would be very interested in knowing as to why you're not doing that. That's bare minimums. That's child abuse that you didn't do. That does not count. Okay? Kids do not owe you anything. Just get that mentality out of your mind. Your children do not owe you shit. That mentality need to die. And when kids do something wrong, they need to learn to know why it's wrong. Don't punish. When you punish someone, it destroys trust. Your kids need to trust you. In order for them to respect you, you need to respect them. Happy kids don't do bad things, So if your kid is happy and feels safe and generally just doesn't feel and like they're in danger or anything like that, you're not going to see them doing bad things as often, especially if you just sit down and explain to them like, hey, there's a reason why you're not supposed to do that. And occasionally you can't help it. Sometimes the kid runs out into a street and you just grab them because you freak out. But that's where teaching them how to apologize comes in, because you learn how to say sorry to them and they learn how to say sorry. And they're like, oh, that's how you apologize. Kids oftentimes are more likely to do what you do than do what you say. Yeah, try acting like a decent human being and you'll probably raise decent human beings. Unless they absolutely hate you and do everything against you because they just want to be a decent human being to spite you. When it comes to toddlers, because I know that somebody's going to bring up toddlers. Like, what about toddlers? Toddlers understand more than you give them credit for. Also, toddlers don't understand the broad viewpoint of the world. They don't understand that just because they don't get the Hot Wheel or the Barbie doll this time around, that the world isn't going to end. You have to teach them that. And spanking and screaming at them isn't going to teach them that. It's just going to shut them down. Usually when they get tantrums, they're overworked and they're upset. And sometimes the symptom is something more. They're cranky. They're tired. It's not going to... It'll get them to stop doing it, but it's also going to teach them, don't trust mom and dad. And they will remember that. I can remember being 3 or 4 and having incidents like that. And I can remember those feelings of distrust. I can remember those little seeds growing. Yeah, it doesn't work. And yeah, we will remember. If we don't remember the incident, we will remember the feeling. And anyway, it's just going to add to the chaos. I mean, like, if you're going to spank a already screaming toddler, what is the screaming toddler going to do? They're going to scream more. Just take them outside, wait a few minutes, and let them calm down and be like, you done? You done? Okay. This is how we're going to do. And if that means, like, oh no, that inconveniences me, too bad. Again, your kid owes you shit. Your kids are not here for you. You're here for the kids. We did not ask to be born. You're the one who chose in some way, shape, or form to give birth. Pro-choice arguments aside. And the whole, like, you're not allowed to have any more abortions arguments aside. That's a video for another day. But yeah, I didn't ask to be put on this earth. It was the decisions of other people that put me on this earth, that gave me life. And yeah, I don't have to be grateful for that. I really don't have to be grateful for that. And I don't owe anyone anything for being a parent. That is your responsibility. That is your job as a parent. That shouldn't have, like, if your kid grows up and is grateful for it, that's great and everything, but it shouldn't be like, like nose up in the air, arrogant entitlement of, oh, look at me, I'm doing this, you should be so grateful. It's like, you're not doing it to be a good person, you're doing it to get attention. It kind of defeats the whole purpose. And at the end of the day, if you're gonna scream and yell at your kid and you're gonna do these things, like, it speaks more about you than it does about the kid and your parenting. The way the Inuits parent, and I love how the Inuits parent actually, is they don't really yell or scream at their kids. No, really what they do is they teach stories. They teach life lessons through stories, so that's why why a lot of Inuit stories are kind of weird. Because it's their way of trying to convince the kid to not stick their hand in the water where the killer whale may pull them into the water, or the seal, because seals can be evil sometimes, or getting hypothermia or stuff like that. But generally, if a kid's acting up, they don't really treat it. Like, they don't scream at the kid, they don't spank them, they don't do anything, because their mentality is, I'm the adult in this situation. They're the kid. They're going to act like a kid. If I scream and yell and act violently towards my child, I'm behaving like a child. And all I am doing is reinforcing negative childish behaviors. So how about we act like mature adults, and thus teaching my child to act like a mature adult, because they are going to do as I do, not as I say. And yeah, you're not the dictator of your home. You are a leader. So lead. Dictators don't have happy endings. They never have happy endings in history. They never actually helped their country either. So why do you think it's going to work in your home to act like a total tyrant? And the thing is that oftentimes these mentalities of, you own your children, they are objects, or I'm going to behave like a horrible human being to you but expect you to somehow turn out to be a decent human being. I'm going to force you to repress your emotions and do all these horrible things, and we're going to accept these manipulative, gaslighting, guilt-tripping, emotionally abusive behaviors as regular things. They become foundational in excusing and allowing more serious abuse, like more serious emotional, physical, and sexual abuse to happen. To allow it to happen, or even becomes the mindset behind why parents do actually commit these acts. Oh, I own this kid, so that makes it okay for me to slap them around until they bleed. Oh, I own this kid, so it makes it okay for me to call them a slut, or a fat whore, or a dyke, or man hands, or just ruin their life until they have a complete and total mental collapse. Oh, I own this kid, so it makes it okay for me to stick my hand up their skirt, or do something worse in that regard. And yeah, that was graphic, but I need to get it through your head, guys. Kids are here because you put them here. They're your responsibility. Like, you don't expect cats and dogs and pets to be grateful. Why in God's name do you think a kid is? And on top of that, when do we stop seeing kids as human beings? When do kids start being human beings to us? And not objects. Like, they're not here for you. You're here for them. Just get that through your head. Because your way of parenting should not be where they have to spend most of their adult life in therapy, trying to recover. childhood should be some of the happiest moments and have the happiest moments. Their greatest memories of childhood should not be of fear and anger. So, that's all I really have to say on this subject. Well, the chat has come to an end, my cogs and gears. I will see you next time at another fireside chat. Be sure to support the channel on our Patreon and check us out on our other social media platforms.